Alright, I got some sad panda vibes because I wanted to give this a quick scan before I started reading, but it read more like an obituary than anything else. Happy face, beast. I'm sure it's not over. So, I'm going to let this be on screen. You can read through this at your own pace. I will summarize it because this would be very boring if I read it word for word. But they say it's always been in constant state of development since we first began, which is, well, most how things go. And as we near the 3-year anniversary, wanted to share an update. So since the launch, they've added lots of heroes and schematics and events, and they're very true about that. That's been a thing. Recombobulation didn't always used to be able to change your perks. A nice narrative experience, a climactic one of that, and then they've shaped it into a massive RPG experience, which a massive collection RPG. That's true. That's for sure. There's a lot you can do in this game that a lot of people kind of gloss over. As you've seen, I really like weapons and heroes, and there are literally hundreds of them. So today they're bringing Save the World early access. They're taking that away, and they're bringing it not free to play, but to a premium version, as they say, which is going to be $20, which is kind of okay, because $20 was their half off price, and that's where a lot of people bought the game, and I kind of agree with that. They don't want to just give this away for free, because as you'll see, they're kind of closing the quest line here, and which is where I'll get to, but $20 I think is fair, because this game offers a lot for $20. So then anybody who had an upgraded version of the game, which was me, and I think a lot of people, I mean, 20 extra bucks for a Founders Edition is not a ton. Seriously, like a lot of people, like I said, $20 is the whole base of the game. That's not a lot. Well, for people who could afford 40, 60 wasn't a big ask, assuming you're an adult and you're not, saving up Christmas money. I apologize if you're in that position, but for a lot of people that I know, especially, $20 is that big of a deal. So the fact that they've removed that is interesting, and then everybody will get all of that, and Ultimate Edition owners will be granted the Metal Team Leader Pack and 8,000 V-Bucks. So, interesting. We talk more about the Metal Pack in my recent video on the patch notes. They also bring it up here, where you can just pause if you want, but I think they literally copy-pasted that, so I'm going to be glossing over that later. But to continue, the Legacy Early Access label will also be removed from Battle Royale and Creative Game modes, and I assume Save the World. So that's really interesting. And then Save the World will no longer be supporting all of Battle Royale cosmetics, which is interesting. I would want to be optimistic in saying that Save the World is going to get its own shop, where we're going to get our own, where we are going to get our own cosmetics. But if that's not going to be carrying over from Battle Royale, then I like our outfits. What are they gonna? I hope they substitute that. I really hope they substitute that or end up changing that, because what I hear, I don't know anything about the development, but what I hear is the devs no longer want to port that over. I really think they're, oh boy, I'm scared reading this. So your existing library will function. It's okay, and then we'll just keep up with that. And if they do end up making a major change related to that, if you haven't subscribed yet, I will be covering that. And then long-term replayability is a key motivation that they're going to focus on, which is something I like personally. I'm a long-haul kind of player. I don't like big narrative experiences, ironically. I've actually played most of this game with the cinematics off. I don't listen to the dialogue. I'll admit it, because there's nothing to watch. I just hear voice lines, which are interesting and all, but I stream this game, so every single voice line that's ever existed in this game, like 95% of them have been talked over by my friends, or I've been distracted by chat, or it happened at a point in gameplay where I collected the things too fast and I couldn't rewind. I've just missed most all of it. I eventually gave up and turned it off. So what I like is replayability. I want whatever this Ventures is. From what I can imagine, from what I read, it seems as though they're just going to be rotating existing quests, which sounds boring, but if I'm not mistaken, there are at least 2 years of quests that they could do. Like, if they do a couple months at a time, we would be on like a 2-year cycle before we even see the same thing again. And you might be bored of a certain quest line, like dungeons, for example, but if it's been 2 years since you've played it, maybe it'll be exciting. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. Maybe a battle pass will be included with that. I'm not really sure. And then you can supercharge materials, can raise a level of items in your main collection before in your cap. Again, this might change a lot. I don't know what they're going to actually change to the game. I'll pin any comments that are pertinent, comment below if I missed anything important here as well. Until then, great more updates. Pirates have invaded home base. That's what the Rad Llamas hit the road. Pirate guys come back. Dino heroes are back, which are all amazing. And then structure changes. So as we roll out, we're shifting to an annual recurring season. So annual. Maybe it's just a 1-year cycle. I was getting a little ahead of myself there, I suppose. And then existing narratives for Frostnight Dungeons, you know, will continue to rotate, which is, yeah, I wish Dungeons would be here full time, but maybe they have a better plan. I don't really know. And then the massive library will slow down. So that's where I get really scared. I don't know what they're going to be focusing on going forward, but I might have missed it as I've been skimming here. But when I read it fully, it seems as though they're just going to straight up slow down on development, period, which to a lot of people will think, huh, already, you know, it's slower from what we've already got, but you guys need to realize that the lack of updates most certainly means that they've been working on a lot. They just haven't been releasing it yet, which is what we're probably seeing here. And then the massive library will slow down. This will happen by the way of quest rewards, event llamas within the event store. Home base will continue squashing bugs and balances over the course of each season. We already read through that in the last video. You can see it there on screen. And then the adventure continues while the main story is complete. That scares me, by the way. No Twine Peaks quest line is what that says to me. We completed Canny. From people who do listen to the narrative have informed me that that seemed like an end, and I didn't want to believe them, but maybe that's what happened. Maybe it is an end, and if that's the case, then okay. Maybe Twine is doomed to be the end game. You know, when you get to Twine, that's the end of the road. Haha, get it? Because hit the road. All right. Anyway, alright, continue battling, hustling Twine Peaks, take on the events, evolve your collection by completing each venture's season, choice is yours, and then we hope that Save the World upcoming adventures will inspire to continue your adventure and share some stories along the way, which is where I like to take the inspiration from my motivation, because I won't call this the end of Save the World. Again, I don't know how I'm going to clickbait this video, maybe I will call it that, but I really don't think it is. If anything, this is just a new change in direction. Instead of new storylines, new zone, they're just going to be continuing to make what we've already got better. And how they execute that will ultimately determine how well this game exists, in my opinion, because that alone will scare some people off, and this might be the last time they load up. But you need to understand what new content is. It doesn't need to be a new zone. It doesn't mean making your power level go from 131 to 132. If there's new shit to do in the game, there are new quests you haven't completed, there are new cosmetics you haven't got, there are new weapons you haven't collected, there's something to do. People always tell me that new weapons aren't new content, and I just couldn't disagree more. I mean, yeah, it's not new things to do, but it changes the way that you do things. You know what I mean? Like, missions get very, very different. The Storm King is fantastic. I love that kind of thing. Now, that's new content. Of course, that's a new thing to do. But I mean, like, a new weapon or a new hero changes the way you play the game, and that, to me, is enough. Not to everybody, but with those words, I'm going to call it there. Let me load up Fortnite real quick so I can tell you guys something about. I got this a few months ago, actually. If you guys want to go ahead and use support creator Mista, I'd really appreciate it. Subscribe if you're new. Thank you guys so much for watching, and stay tuned for the next one. I'm gonna be streaming this a lot today. And then